Hi, my name is Hunnings, lead consultant at HCL, and I'm recording this on the evening of Tuesday the 21st of October, straight after the SRA Culp and Coffer conference. It's my digest of what was discussed, so please forgive me if I look down at my notes occasionally. Clearly the biggest thing happening today was the announcement by the government that they're going to unify the regulation of AML and CTF regulation, all under the FCA. So that means that at some stage, unknown yet in the future, the regulation and checking of compliance with AML will move from the SRA to the FCA. Now, it looks as though there has to be legislation for that, so the government has to find time for doing that. There needs to be a managed handover. It's not just for lawyers and the SRA, this is accountants and all other professional bodies and the HMRC all being unified under regulation by the FCA. So as far as we think within our team, we should continue as things are at present, and the SRA will carry on with that regulation, and the best thing that law firms can do is just continue as directed currently and up to this time and in the future by the SRA. So moving then on to things which were discussed in the actual conference. So we had the initial chairman's discussion where there was a consultation, they said, which will start in 2 to 3 weeks' time on the burden of regulatory interpretation. So it is likely that the SRA will be asking for more data so it can make the right decisions about this. So this is going to be a targeted request for data. It is sensible, in my opinion, that the SRA is asking for this information so it can do what it needs to do in a proportionate manner. So it will be based upon the level of risk that they perceive to the consumer. So some areas which are high risk are what you would expect, like conveyancing, but they did mention also high volume consumer claims and immigration, where if things went wrong, the consequence for the client could be quite catastrophic in being deported and such like. So watch out for that request, likely to come out, I think, in early 2026 for more data. It won't be everyone, and they will try to make that proportionate. Mazur, the decision on that, the SRA has not yet published their guidance. The Law Society has put out a practice note. The SRA said that they were delaying putting out their practice note because the LSB, Legal Services Board, wants to coordinate their response so that they speak with one voice. Right, so. Okay, AML still is of importance, as I mentioned earlier. So with the last year's inspections, 864 inspections were carried out in 2024-5, which is more than the previous year, and certainly their intention is to carry out more 25 to 2026. Okay, now then, sanctions inspections, they are carrying those out for sanctions compliance, so do watch out for that. That is something that we help with as well as with SRA inspections. They carried out 432 in the year 2024 to 25, and they will be carrying out more, and they'll be they said writing out to more firms to do desktop reviews on sanctions compliance in January 2026. The highest reasons for referral after inspections, so 162 for failure with CMRAs, client and matter risk assessments, 102 for failure for source of funds checks, 99 because there were not effective PCPs, and 65 failures for firm-wide risk assessments, or practice-wide risk assessments as they're sometimes called. So firm-wide risk assessments, main problems were that they had a template. This is the law firm had a template which was not tailored to their particular circumstances of their firm. Then there were more which didn't have the 5 mandatory risks in them. There were 90 which didn't have a firm-wide risk assessment at all. Client and matter risk assessment. So this is a big area where the SRA is focusing. 50% of the firms that were referred because the client and matter risk assessments were missing on the files. This has got nothing to do with being in scope for AML. This is a broader requirement. 39% they were inadequate. PCPs. Okay, so PCPs, policies and procedures. Okay, so this is something which there's a disconnect between the policies and procedures that firms have in their firms and what is happening on the ground. So the SRA is really keen for independent AML audits to be carried out. I did hear from one of our client firms recently that they'd heard that the SRA are fine if they're carried out only once every 2 years, but they do want them to be carried out on a repeating basis. Now, we do carry these out for our firms. Details are on our website, hunningsconsultancy.co.uk, and we do carry them out on a repeat basis for firms as well, so we can help with this. Okay. The other thing the SRA said about the PCPs was that they were not tailored in many circumstances to the particular requirements of the firm. They were just off-the-shelf purchases left as a vanilla. They must be maintained and updated on a regular basis, and you should mark on them who did the update and when. Now, so something else the SRA said is that their thematic reviews for 2026 will be on PCPs, your policies and procedures, often your firm-wide or practice-wide manual, office procedures manual, sometimes it's called. So again, this is something that we can help with, and we do have an quarterly updating service that goes with that as well. But the SRA is going to focus on that. File reviews. The SRA was very keen for file reviews to be carried out, and they found that those firms that did regular file reviews were the ones that tended to be more compliant. Right, okay, so what else was said? We did have a talk from someone from the NCA, the UK FIU division of the NCA, particularly to do with SARs. Now, this is not subject access requests, that's to do with the data protection, which again we help with, but no, this is suspicion activity reports to the NCA. So they said that there will be new guidance issued in November 2025, which will overwrite all previous guidance. So please watch out on their website for that, nca.gov.uk. Okay. What else? Yes, the final thing is the SRA Kolpenkoffer or Compliance Conference is going to be moving from November each year to being April each year, but they will skip next year, so the next SRA Kolpenkoffer conference will be in April 2027. Okay, I hope you found that helpful. I've tried to summarize what I picked up. I didn't attend all of the sessions, so of course there'll be things that I didn't attend and didn't hear, but I hope that's of some help. So if you do want help with your compliance, please feel free to contact us, hunningsconsultancy.co.uk. Ingemar Hunnings is my name. You can find me very easily on our LinkedIn channel, on Twitter, on Blue Sky, on Facebook, Google Maps, and you'll find our YouTube channel, Hunnings Consultancy, and we're also on Rednote as well. Okay, thank you very much. I hope that's of help. Goodbye.